Hi guys, welcome to my video of the fourth day of my over the board tournament. This was day 4 out of 5. Then I have Saturday, Sunday, Monday off, and then the second tournament starts. 9 days. Today I'm playing with white against a gentleman who is rated 1555. So after yesterday where I got paired with the 1620, it was kind of like a breath of fresh air, even though still you need to be wary. I mean, he could still be a very strong opponent. So let's see what happens. Well, you kind of can see what happened in my thumbnail and in my description. I played a very solid game. Really happy about it. And yeah, played with white, Jobava London. Uh, Normal setup. This is Jobava London setup. And I just wanted him to prevent from coming in. Stockfish recommends going here. Yes, I know there's Jobava London lines. They need to go here with the knight and protect this square. But I'm not very keen on it and not very familiar with it. So I don't really go for that. He challenges the pawn in the center. I defend. He brings the knight out. That's a mistake because I can fork. The rook and the queen on the square defended by my bishop. He thought he had a good thing going. He gives a check. If this pawn, sorry, if sometimes this pawn is still here, and then it's a bit tricky because you need to go back, and your attack is just gone down the drain. But because this bishop is defending my knight, I can just defend with a pawn move, and everything is hunky dory, and this threat is still strong. Now he stops me from defending this square to go for a check. And there's two ways to go about it. You can take it with the bishop, or you can take it with the pawn. Both ways, this attack is fizzled out because my bishop is not going to be here for much longer. It's either going to be traded off if I take it this way. If I take it this way, he's going to go here and get rid of my bishop. Or as I did, I just take the pawn. He takes, I take, and then the knight needs to move. Unless you push the pawn, which I thought was a really nice move. Stockfish agrees, it's the best move, because obviously it's taking the defense away from my knight. Stockfish actually recommends taking this, and it's a nice line. And I didn't really understand it until Stockfish showed to me. So Stockfish recommends, if I'm correctly, take. No. Actually, no. Stockfish actually says like, don't worry about it. Just defend your knight. And now this needs to move. Let's say here. Now I can take the pawn, attacking this knight and the pawn, which is also attacked by the bishop. So knight moves. Only square you can go to is here. And then you just take the knight. Yeah, okay, they even say... No, it's not trapping the knight. You can go here. But just take the pawn. And you're very strong. Yeah, but I didn't see that. So Stockfish is like just top notch, obviously. So I just went a little bit passive. That's one of my things I need to improve on. When things get a little bit heated, I tend to go passive rather than attacking. Not even attacking, but I go defensive rather than offensive. Now he sits on a nice outpost. Yes, I could push this pawn, but it'd be weakening my king side considerably. So I didn't want to do that. So I just brought my knight out. Stockfish wants to put the pawn on here and fianchetto, but I'm not familiar with those lines. So I'd rather not. You see all the arrows. I've already analyzed it before. Because I did see in some world he had a little bit of a tactic maybe where he sacrifices the knight. He takes, queen takes with the check. And if I'd be dumb enough to check it with the queen, I'd be losing a rook. So I've seen all the kind of lines, but I had my ways around it. I can bring this knight over here. But I just defended. He took. Stockfish doesn't even mind losing castling rights, but I thought like it'd be great to just take it this way. He does actually go for the line, which doesn't really work because I can just take it. He checks and I block it. Okay, Stockfish actually recommends just stepping out of the way, but I kind of wanted to keep my castling options open. But now I also have a check threat here. It doesn't actually checkmate the opponent, but he will be losing castling rights. So he noticed that. In hindsight, maybe I should have pushed this pawn, but I did feel it'd be weakening my king side. And I thought like, let's just castle. Stockfish agrees. Yes, it's losing a pawn, but that's all right. Okay, so this isn't the best move. Stockfish recommends putting a tempo on the queen, but I thought this is quite strong. Look at this pawn. If I can get the knight out of the way, I got two attackers with the rook behind it, so he's gonna have to give up the pawn. But he goes for a greater threat. He's threatening checkmate. You can see I already analyzed it before and practiced a little bit because this square was red. So only move, defend it. He castles, I bring it back. Reason being is I wanted my knight here to put tempo on the rook, queen, but also then sit here and maybe attack this pawn. But he steps out of the way, and this changed my mind completely because he has no threat. Eventually, the threat became clear, but it was a bit of a slow move, I think, because it's dropping a pawn. And yes, he wanted to go there with the bishop, attacking the knight, winning attacking the rook, winning a rook for a pawn. But by making this move, he actually let this rook hang. So I took it. He takes it, I retake it. He takes it, I retake it, and he takes my bishop. So when all the dust is settled, I'm up a knight for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So a rook for 2. I'm up a rook for 1 pawn. Am I saying this correctly? I've got 5 pawns. He got 6 pawns, and I've got a rook. A knight. Still a little bit psyched after such a great game. But I needed to be wary because obviously this is a passed pawn. So plenty of time. I just needed to figure out a way how to defend this pawn from pushing any further. So I went here with the idea of going there. And he pushed. I not just defended this pawn from pushing any further, but also attacking this pawn. And he defends this pawn. And I just defended this pawn. And yeah, so now I can't take it. I didn't defend the pawn, but I defended the pawn from pushing any further from promotion square. Yeah, so now I thought like this was gonna get a bit tricky. I thought bring the king in here, but he could do some stuff with his pawns. So that's what I did. And obviously he couldn't push this pawn because this pawn would be hanging. But now with the rook sitting here, it's different. But I already saw that I had some tricks up my sleeve. So it was fair to move in to maybe grab this pawn. And now he pushed his pawn, but that's just a fork. I'm forking the knight and the pawn. So my opponent was a little bit gutted because he had, every play he tried, every counterplay he tried, didn't work out. So now I've won another pawn, and now he attacks my knight. He forks my knight and the pawn, but there's a way around this, and even winning material. Mm. And if you're not seeing it, pause the video and give yourself some time to figure out what the best move is here, because obviously I can't defend the pawn with the knight, and I can defend the pawn with the rook, but then he'd be winning the knight. Okay, so if you figure it out, well done. And if not, this is the way. I can just grab the pawn. He can't take the knight because that's just a checkmate. And he obviously can't take the pawn either, so he just lost himself another pawn and needs to give his king an escape square. Now obviously the pawn is not hanging because defended by the rook, but the knight is hanging, so I just moved it out of the way. And he just got away from all kinds of shenanigans, I think, and I just brought it back, attacking the pawn, making him forced to push the pawn to at least get an equal trade, because otherwise he could have maybe moved over here with the rook. Maybe he could have moved here, but then it's just like stepping over here, attacking this pawn. Yes, he can push, but then it's just a free pawn. Yeah, so he pushed, and then I take, and he recaptures. It's an equal trade, but more importantly, all his attack is gone. He's got no more counterplay, and now I'm just having to finish off the game. Still need to be on high alert how to do it. So I'm just moving my rook over here, maybe potentially go here with my knight, and then here attack this pawn. But he either saw it or had some other plans, and even if I go here and here, he could still defend it with his rook, this pawn, and I'd be losing material. I kind of still wanted to protect my pawns. Now he moves over here. Stockfish doesn't actually mind it, but I think this was a mistake, because now I get to force a rook trade. And obviously when you're up in material, you want to trade down. Rook can't go here, defended by the knight, can't go there, defended by the rook, can't go there, defended by the knight, can't go there, defended by the pawn, can't go there, defended by the knight, can't take this pawn, defended by the king. So it's a forced rook trade. You actually push the pawn, but I got my rook trade, which I really was looking for, because now, yeah, a pawn and a knight up. But I was aware that I didn't want to trade down the pawns, because if I say trade 3 with 3 pawns, I have 1 pawn and a knight, and they could still be very, very tricky. So first push the pawn, he gets in, nowhere to go. I block him from getting any further, and then he pushed the pawn. And then I came up with this brilliant idea to deflect the king, so I can move in closer. And obviously, if I move in closer, you can't actually take my knight, because then I'm in and gobbling up all these pawns, and it's just end of the game. So, but I needed to take some time to calculate, because I wasn't 100% sure that he might have some other tricks up his sleeve. But after some calculation, maybe 5-10 minutes, I figured if he takes, I mean, he's trying. Okay, so let's go here. I go here. He go here. I go here. He has to go here. I go here. Yeah, that is the winning endgame. But I was calculating that if he would go here, I go here, and maybe go here, I go here, he go here, I go here, he go there, and I can just choose whatever pawn I have to promote. So after some thorough calculation, I saw I could go here and sacrifice my knight. He pushed the pawn, but I can just take it. And he needed to decide whatever he wanted to do. So he took my knight, and then I took a pawn, and my opponent resigned because there's nothing really he can do anymore. It's just a losing game. So yeah, very happy with my game. Curious to know what you thought about it. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up. Leave a comment if you wish. What did you think of my play? Did I miss some things? Would you have played differently? Etc. etc. And if this is your first video of my channel, I'm covering my over the board tournaments at the moment. So go check out my channel for day 1, 2, and 3. I also cover my online games. I have a rapid rating climb to 1500 and a blitz rating climb to 1200. I'll be picking them up again after this tournament. 1 game a day over the board tournament is more than enough for my brain. But keep an eye out for that. And yeah, subscribe to my channel if you want, if you're not yet subscribed. If you're not yet subscribed. Anyway, this is today's video. Tomorrow I'm paired with a 16-14 rated opponent, but I've noticed he is not playing in such a great tournament at the moment, so having some hopes. My secondary goal was, the first goal was to get into the top 3, but if you've watched my previous videos, there's been some changes in the group and we've had some higher rated opponents. So I'll let go of the top 3 goal, but I wanted to get 2.5 points out of 5 games. So I need either a win or a draw tomorrow, and then I'd be getting to that goal. My tournament rating after this game is 1539. So if I draw or win tomorrow, I should be able to get to a high 1500 rating, and I'd be very, very happy with that one. Yeah, so altogether, not playing too bad at the moment, and actually the guys I lost against are currently after 4 rounds sitting at place 1 and 3. So they were strong opponents indeed. Anyway, thanks for watching. Stay sharp. See you next time. Bye bye.